Hi, it's Brian. Welcome to the Awards Contender. I am very excited today to bring you my final individual review from the Toronto Film Festival. I thought we'd go out with a bang, with a masterpiece, with a film that just completely blew my mind at Tiff, and that is Babygirl, starring Nicole Kidman and directed by Halina Reijn. This movie had its world premiere at Venice, and I feel like the reviews were pretty good. Not rapturous, I would say, at least the ones I looked at, but I have been a lifelong fan of Nicole Kidman. I know she works a lot, like a hell of a lot. There's rarely a month that goes by where she's not in something, right? Like I feel like every few weeks, she pops up in a film, whether it's streaming or theatrical, or she shows up in a limited series on Max or Netflix or something. This woman is always working, and she's good, if not great, in a bunch of projects. I would say especially the last few years, she hasn't been like her stellar self that she used to be in the late 90s and the early 2000s. Many of her projects as of late, I have thought were just okay, or maybe they were good, but they were done for streaming or television, and so they're not part of the Oscar conversation. And I'm not a huge fan of her previous two Oscar nominations, Best Actress for Being the Ricardos and Best Supporting Actress for Lion. Like, she's good in those movies, but did she need to get Oscar nominations? I don't think so. But this woman is so talented. I have been waiting for a performance that's at the level of Moulin Rouge, The Hours, Rabbit Hole. I have found it, finally, after many years, I would say, in Babygirl. I was so impressed by the Nicole Kidman performance in this movie. She is firing on all cylinders. It is a bold, ferocious performance, unlike anything we've seen from her in a long time. I do think this is easily her best film performance since Rabbit Hole 14 years ago. Like, from the very first scene in Babygirl, I was sitting up like, oh, this is gonna be very interesting. And I immediately thought, okay, Kidman is going to go places in this particular story that we rarely see from her, especially these days. And as the movie played out, scene to scene, I was just gobsmacked by her performance in this. It is definitely Oscar worthy, as I'll talk about, but going a step further, this is not a movie that's just merely good, like a 7 out of 10 film with a fantastic lead performance that could get into the Best Actress race. I also found Babygirl to be an amazing movie, too. I think this is going to be in my top 3 favorite films of 2024. It's that good. I know some people have been cold on this one, and not everybody is going to love it. It's not the easiest movie in the world to watch. It goes to some dark, dangerous places. There are some scenes of sexuality that are very uncomfortable at times. But what writer-director Halina Reijn manages to capture in this movie, the raw intensity and authenticity of sexuality between two consenting adults in Babygirl, this is a fascinating film that I loved every second of. Nicole Kidman plays a high-powered CEO named ROWE. She's married to Jacob, played by Antonio Banderas. They've had a long relationship, a long marriage. They have kids together, live in a very nice home. You think in the early scenes of Babygirl that ROWE has everything she needs. A very handsome, kind husband. She's got her kids, seemingly all the money in the world, at least as much as she needs. And she's got a job that she really enjoys, where she's got a lot of power. But you know, this is a movie. It needs to have conflict, right? So something has to happen to upend her life. And what takes place in the early scenes of Babygirl is that at her company, they have interns coming in and learning the business from the ground up. And each intern is assigned a mentor. And one of those interns, Samuel, played by Harris Dickinson, is assigned to be with ROWE, even though she doesn't even think she's supposed to be a mentor. It turns out that way. And they have their first meeting, and there's clearly some electricity between them, even though he's much younger. He's like in his 20s, and he's very handsome and tall, and has a confidence about him that kind of turns her on almost immediately. Every time she sees him, she takes a moment, kind of looks his way. She's intrigued. I mean, if you have seen erotic thrillers throughout the decades, you know in a certain sense where this story is going. You know she's going to make a questionable choice and start a sexual relationship with Samuel. Like, that element of the story is pretty obvious early on, but what delighted me so much about Babygirl is that it does not go into directions you expect. Like, I had a certain expectation what the second half of this movie was going to be, and this screenplay, Helena Rain, she totally went against conventions with this story. And by the third act, I was like, I don't even know where this is going to end. Like, it's not a conventional, like, erotic thriller in that sense. It doesn't really resemble those kind of movies we got a lot, especially in the 1990s, I would say. And in the Q&A after Babygirl, Helena Rain even talked about when she was writing the screenplay, she thought about taking Babygirl in that direction in the third act, making it more of a thriller, but she ultimately held back in doing that. And what she has created instead of just kind of a movie we've seen before 1,000 times, she has created a true original that just amazed me through and through. I saw 21 films at Tiff. I saw a wide range of storytelling techniques, different genres, but Babygirl was one of the richest experiences I had at the festival for that long week. It was truly one of the most exciting 2 hours I spent in a movie theater in Toronto, and a big part of that, beyond the very interesting screenplay and the way it does upend your expectations a lot throughout the narrative, it's that Nicole Kidman performance that just blew my mind. She is so phenomenal in this movie. She reminds you of how good she can be with the right project, the right character, the right screenplay, the right director. Nicole Kidman reminds us again in Babygirl just how great of an actress she still is. This is such a complex character. She is commanding, she is vulnerable, she is incredibly sexy at times, but she also has these moments where she knows she's making a mistake, but she can't stop herself. It's like borderline obsession. Her willingness to destroy her marriage, her family, for this young intern who holds some power over her, even though she pushes against it at times, she also welcomes it into her life. This man, Samuel, gives her the kind of excitement, especially on a sexual level, she has not felt in years. And so even though ROWE makes some mistakes in this narrative, to be sure, you understand why she's making them, you understand where she's coming from, and Nicole Kidman makes her so believable, so empathetic. You really do come to care for ROWE even when she's making a lot of questionable life choices. This is one of the best performances of 2024. I don't know if Nicole Kidman can get the Oscar nomination for Best Actress, but she 100% deserves it. I will be shouting from the rooftops over the next few months. I don't know what's going to happen at the precursors. Like, is Babygirl going to be up for any other categories? I don't know. But if nothing else, on Oscar nominations morning, Nicole Kidman deserves to be there in Best Actress. This is one of her finest performances in her long career. Give her the Academy Award nomination. She, of course, is not the only great actor in this movie. Harris Dickinson is absolutely at her level. A very, very interesting character he plays. You don't know whether to love him or hate him at times. He's kind of an enigma. I really enjoyed his performance too. He's right in the middle, like he could be lead actor, he could be supporting actor. I don't know where they're going to position him in terms of award season, because Antonio Banderas, who is a clear supporting actor in this movie, has some dynamite scenes in the third act. And I do think if there's enough enthusiasm and support for this movie in the months to come, Antonio Banderas would be an inspired Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. I mean, just one scene he has with Kidman toward the end. Like, my jaw was dropped. I was like, oh my God. I mean, talk about real, talk about intense. Like the fly on the wall nature to a lot of the cinematography in this movie takes your breath away. I was so enamored with the cinematography in Babygirl. The handheld camera, the way the camera often follows Nicole Kidman into rooms that she maybe shouldn't be going into. There is this raw, kind of dangerous aspect to the camera work and cinematography in the film that I thought worked beautifully for this particular story. Everything technically is at a very high level. The film editing is great. The score, the music. There are at least 2 montage scenes with a song playing that I was vibing to. I was like all in. I was like, sign me up for watching this movie another 10 times. This movie is a total thrill. What a breakthrough, I would say, for Helena Rain, who made Bodies, 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 which was very good. I very much enjoyed that. But that was more, I would say, of a genre film, whereas Babygirl has some genre elements in it, but it's a little bit more human, a little bit more devastating, and by the end, you are just in awe of her screenwriting talent, her directing talent. She was the right person to tell this story, and getting Nicole Kidman to play the lead was a masterstroke. I think Babygirl should also be considered at the Oscars for original screenplay, for cinematography, to be sure. I don't think it has a chance in Best Picture, Best Director. Enough people are going to have some issues with this film, even at the basic level of its raw sexuality. I get that. But if you allow yourself to go with this film and really give yourself over to it, you will have an amazing time, the way I did. Babygirl is a very special movie featuring one of Nicole Kidman's very best film performances. I hope, beyond hope, she is coming for another Oscar nomination in Best Actress. That better happen, because let me tell you, if they snub Nicole Kidman for this movie, I'm gonna be pissed, because she is incredible in it, and the movie itself is an all-timer. I very much believe Babygirl is a masterpiece. I give it a 10 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and stay tuned for my upcoming video where I rank all 21 films I saw at the Toronto Film Festival. We'll see you next time at the Awards Contender.